Welcome, everyone, to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yardmaster, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today we are looking at our next hero ship, the NX-08 Calnus. This is, well, technically this is a bit of a nod to another sci-fi series, a game from Japan, Star Ocean, which is basically their answer to Star Trek with some fantasy elements mixed in. In Star Ocean, the Calnus is, well, it's basically their version of the Enterprise. It's the main ship in the first game and in the second game. Doesn't show up in the third game, but the fourth game, their version of Enterprise, has SRF-003 Calnus as one of 5 ships sent out to explore the cosmos after the Third World War. Anyway, I had wanted to do putting a Calnus in the early days of Star Trek seemed fitting, especially in NX. And I had wanted to do either NX-03 or NX-09 as an homage to SRF-003. But Ron will explain why.
Oh boy, Take. This is where you decided to be dumb. See, there are 7 space shuttles. OV-001 Enterprise.
Yep.
OV-002 Columbia. I'm pretty sure that number 3 is Discovery. Yes,
Right.
she is.
Okay.
Next is Atlantis. And I'm pretty sure there was a 7th.
Yeah, Endeavor. Endeavor was in there somewhere.
Indeed, she was OV-05.
Yeah.
But you can see the problem in Take's.
Yeah, NX-03 would have been Discovery. So the next option, NX-09, 3 squared.
Which is taken up by another ship.
Yeah.
The Avenger. And
Yeah.
remember, what applies to Prime applies to Mirror, and vice versa.
Yeah, the Avenger was seen in the Mirrorverse, but it's pretty clear, but it's pretty easy to see that the NX-09 Avenger would have been in the Primeverse as well. The next option that I had was either add or subtract a number from 9, or go for 3 squared, 27. I'm not sure 27 would have worked. So
I sincerely doubt there would have been that many NXs ever built. And even then, they would have been built to the refit standard.
Yeah. So I decided to go for NX-08. So, the 8th NX class starship built, named for a exploration ship from pre-World War III media. Again, not to Star Ocean. The Calnus was assigned to I was tasked with exploring. It was another exploration vessel in a different direction than Enterprise, and given the situation that was, given the Xindi situation and some developing tensions around Earth space, it was also designed for a bit more of a reconnaissance role, to gather intelligence rather than just basic exploration. And eventually, when the war broke out, when the Earth-Romulan War broke out, the Calnus was one of the premier intel gathering vessels during the early stages of the war. In later stages of the war, it was refit to tactical operations, and it served in the front lines. And then eventually, in 2163, pretty much the entire NX class got mothballed. So, a short-lived ship, but its legacy would continue on in a series of other reconnaissance or combat vessels, and a couple of science ships. One or two science ships as well.
Well,
It would not be as storied a line as the Enterprise, but it would have its own legacy, both in its name and in its captain, who was part of it, whose family lineage would go on to serve Starfleet for many, many centuries to come. Anyway, now let's get to the stats. Initial launch is 2154. And
that's a bit much. That's a bit too soon. That's the same launch year for Columbia.
Oh, well, it was the best I could think of. Anyway, we can maybe
56 or 57 would be would more likely be.
Yeah, we'll go with 56. So we have the base stats of an NX: comms 5, computers 5, engines 6, sensors 6, structure 6, weapons 6. Department values for its Pathfinder and Reconnaissance Operations mission profile: Command 2, Con 4, Security 2, Engineering 3, Science 3, Medicine 1. Scale 3 starship with Resistance 3, 6 power, and 8 hull plating. Because it has polarized hull plating and grappler cables. Its profile talent is high resolution sensors.
I presume she never got the NX refit. Because the refit has shields and tractor beams.
Probably not. Weapons are phase cannons, spatial torpedoes, and grappler cables, strength 2. For the end of the Earth-Romulan War, 2161, it's mostly the same, except it has an extra point in weapons for a refit point. And for departments, it has changed up to the tactical operations profile, so Command 2, Con 3, Security 3, Engineering 3, Science 2, Medicine 2. And its shield/hull plating have gone up to 9. And it has replaced the high-resolution sensors with expanded munitions, which adds photonic torpedoes to the weapons list. Otherwise, the weapons are pretty much the same. Phase cannons, spatial torpedoes, and grappler cables, in addition to the photonics. So, I will go ahead and mention some of the ships in the Calnus line that I have designed so far. We may do... no, you don't need to swap. I'm just going to mention them. We may do vids on those specific Calnus ships later. Depending on if we can. Because the first one I had was an Archer class.
Oh boy, that would require me swapping games.
Then there was an Excelsior class. And the most recent one that I have is an Avenger class. I am unsure if there are other ships in the lineage, but those were the three. But those were the three I thought of and came up with. Like I said, we may do separate videos for those later to continue the Calnus lineage. I mainly just came up with them for continuing the Calnus like the Enterprise continued. But I don't have too much of a history for them yet. Just they're continuing the lineage of this ship from the Romulan War. So that is the Calnus and a base overview of its lineage. Like I said, we may go into more detail in a later date, and there may even be more ships in this lineage. But that is for a later date.
Bye-bye.